Hi there, and welcome to this day in history for December 4th. December 4th is the 338th day of the year in the Gregorian calendar, 339th in leap years, with 27 days remaining to the end of the year. Today's word is brigantine. Brigantine is a noun that refers to a two-masted sailing ship with a square-rigged foremast and at least two sails on the mainmast, like so. The word brigantine comes to us through French, originally from Italian. First known use of the word brigantine is in about 1525. Brigantine. And with that, December 4th, 1786, Queen of the Missions, founded for the Franciscan Order Mission Santa Barbara, was dedicated on the feast day of St. Barbara. Here's a mystery for you. On December 4th, 1872, Canadian-built American ship Mary Celeste was discovered drifting in the Atlantic, abandoned with only the lifeboat missing. She'd set sail on this trip November 7th, and the last entry in the log was dated 10 days earlier. There were still plenty of provisions on board, and the cargo of alcohol was intact, and the captain and crew's personal belongings were undisturbed. None of the people who were known to have been on board that trip have ever been found or accounted for. Interestingly, hearings took place afterward to try to determine what might have happened to those on board, and also to make a salvage determination. Theories abound, and they certainly did back then too, but nothing conclusive could ever be determined as to what happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste. The ship itself continued in service under new owners after these hearings, and I'm sure she served well until about 1885, when her captain deliberately wrecked her in an attempt to commit insurance fraud. The name Mary Celeste, sometimes misspelled as Marie Celeste, has come to be a synonym for inexplicable desertion. Mary Celeste. And yikes, imagine having a Wikipedia page on the internet. Your most recent claim to fame is that no matter what else you might have done with your life, the main thing anyone remembers about you is that you were involved in a major financial scandal. This is the birthday of Charles Humphrey Keating, Jr., born December 4th, 1923. He was a championship swimmer and a moral activist, but the main thing people remember him for is the huge savings and loans crisis in the 1980s and 90s. This crisis cost the federal government over $3 billion. Tens of thousands of customers were left with worthless bonds. He was convicted of fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy. He got those convictions overturned in favor of a more limited set of conditions of wire fraud and bankruptcy fraud. Ultimately, he only served 4 years in prison. Charles Keating died in 2014 at the age of 90. This is the birthday of Beach Boys co-founder Dennis Wilson, born December 4th, 1944. He was the middle brother of Brian and Carl Wilson, and played drums and sang mostly backup for the band. He also starred in a 1971 movie called Two-Lane Blacktop. Dennis Wilson co-wrote songs Little Bird, Forever, and Cuddle Up. It seems like it would be accurate to imagine that Dennis may have had some personal demons. He had a hard time staying married, 5 marriages, most of them lasting 2 to 4 years, and 2 of those marriages were to the same woman. He struggled with alcoholism and drug abuse in his later years, and he died in 1983, most likely drowned as a result of what's called a shallow water blackout while diving in Marina del Rey. He was 39 at the time of his death. Dennis Wilson. The songs Dennis Wilson co-wrote are spoken well of, although I don't think any of them got anywhere near a chart. All 3 songs were released as B-sides to other single releases. I listened to all 3 of these, and while they are interesting, I think Cuddle Up is the prettiest of the 3. I'll include links to these songs, and I'd be interested to know what you think. Little Bird, Forever, and Cuddle Up, co-written by Dennis Wilson and released by the Beach Boys. Links in the description. And I think that's going to do it for us today. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. Feel free to share this video with a link in your email, messaging, or social media. If you enjoy this series, you can check out the playlist that contains these videos. I'll put a link to that in the description. That playlist lives on YouTube. So for other platforms, I'll include a link to my blog page. It's called No Really. You can also find me on Rumble, BitChute, and Odyssey. All those links in that description. I wonder if I should make that green screeny. Oh well. Alrighty, that's all I can think of right now. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.